The formation chance continues to increase for the disturbance. It is now in red, which means that it has a high chance to develop over the next several days. And the National Hurricane Center has now stated the areas that should be keeping watch on this system. So we're going to be talking about all of that in this evening update, guys. And thank you for tuning in. I hope that you have been enjoying your day. We're going to be going straight into what is happening. So let's move on to the satellite imagery. And here we can see that in the Gulf, there's all of that in association with a low that has developed, an airflow pressure that has developed there, and that is in association with a stationary front. So that has been inducing a lot of heavy rainfall across portions of Texas, even for Louisiana, and spreading into southern Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. Eventually, this will continue off to the east, bringing a lot more rainfall later this week. And then as we head into the Caribbean, for some areas, there has been some rainfall activity, for example, down in the Windward Islands, for the Grenadines, even for Trinidad, some rainfall activity there, but things get a bit drier and quieter up further north toward the Leeward Islands, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands. A whole lot of activity for Hispaniola and Cuba. Same story for the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, but across sections of Jamaica, especially for southwest Jamaica, there has been some thunderstorm activity and some periods of heavy downpours. So you can let me know what's been happening for you. Cayman Islands pretty quiet this afternoon, and across sections of Central America as well. However, there is some shower activity across sections of Belize and even near the Caribbean coast of Honduras and Nicaragua. For some areas, there has been some heavy rainfall, and that is all in association with that system, which may develop into a tropical cyclone in the latter part of this week. And we're going to be taking a look at what the National Hurricane Center has now. So here is the latest update as of 1 p.m. We can see that area, as I said, it is highlighted in red, so a high chance of development. And as I said earlier, the National Hurricane Center has now stated the areas that should be keeping watch. We've got Jamaica, Haiti, the Dominican Republic. Those three areas should be keeping watch for the next couple of days. And Eastern Cuba as well should be keeping watch for the system, as well as the Southern Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. So there is a high 70% chance of development during the next 7 days, and a 0% chance, near 0%, for the next 2 days, because that area of low pressure has not yet formed. And that is the reason we're not seeing an X, because usually we would see an X to show the location of that area of low pressure, but it has not yet formed. So as such, we're just seeing this shaded area right here and the areas that should be keeping watch. And eventually, though, we could see development. Models pretty much agree that we're going to see some development of the system over the coming days. We could see a tropical depression or even a tropical storm become of it as it makes its way toward the northeast. And regardless, though, it is going to be bringing a lot of heavy rains to the aforementioned areas. And right now, as I said, across sections of Honduras, Nicaragua, they have been experiencing some heavy rain, even the offshore islands of San Andres and Providencia. So please stay safe if you're being affected by heavy rainfall, guys, and please do not take any unnecessary risks. If you live in a flood-prone area, it is a good idea to ensure that you get to somewhere that is safer. If you live somewhere where just a bit of heavy rainfall results in a lot of flooding, it is not safe to stay there, as the system is going to be moving in later this week, because a lot of heavy rainfall will be unleashed, even if it is not a tropical cyclone. And I really think that it will become a tropical cyclone, at least a tropical depression. However, if it does lack the characteristics to be classified as a tropical cyclone, the National Hurricane Center may still issue advisories on a potential tropical cyclone, and there may still be those watches, tropical storm watches and warnings being issued. So let's see how that goes, and development is all going to be dependent on how conducive environmental conditions are. So we're going to be looking at what the models have to show, after which we'll be taking a look at the wind shear map. So let's now go on to the models, and we're kick-started with the icon. So icon has been quite consistent. However, with the latest update, it is showing something a little bit different that I want to point out. So this is as we head out to the middle of the week, go into Wednesday and into Thursday. There is that area of low pressure, and those black lines you see, those are called isobars. They join areas of equal pressure, and the more compact we see them, that is indicating strength. And there's also that value there to show what the pressure is at sea level. So that when that decreases, that is also a sign of intensification. So as we head out, as we head to Friday, there we see all that activity spreading into Jamaica and eastern Cuba. So Icon is actually taking the system a bit further west offshore of Jamaica, because it has been very consistent that this will be moving through Jamaica potentially as a tropical storm. But now we're seeing a little bit of a change this evening. So for my fellow Jamaicans, I know what you guys always say: no storm now come, stop wasting the time, and November no storm now develop at this time of year. No, let's actually take this one very seriously, because there are the signs pointing towards development. So we definitely have to ensure that we have the necessary preparations in place for such an event. And it has been quite some time. I believe the last tropical storm to bring impact to Jamaica or make landfall in Jamaica was actually Grace of 2021, and that did quite a number, and Grace was quite weak. But regardless, though, there is likely to be a lot of heavy rainfall, and that will likely unleash significant flooding across sections of the country, especially those flood-prone areas. And that is why I'm emphasizing that if you live in a flood-prone area, it is best to get to somewhere that is a lot safer. Now let's head on to the Euro model. So Euro is also showing some development as we head into the next couple of days. There's that airflow pressure forming by Friday, and it is showing that as we head into this weekend, late Friday going to Saturday, that will be the time when the system passes just east of Jamaica. So there we see Icon showing that, hey, the center may be offshore to the west. Euro saying no, it may be offshore toward the east. All that rainfall activity also spreading into Hispaniola, into portions of the southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos Islands, and eventually the system makes its way out under the influence of the front. And finally, the GFS model here. So GFS is showing something similar to Euro, where we see development of the system, and GFS is showing a slightly stronger system, maybe a very strong tropical storm or even a weak hurricane as we head into this weekend. And it is showing that as it relates to Jamaica, most of the activity, a lot of that shower and thunderstorm activity at the time may be offshore just to the east. And so there we can see that there is some variation in what could happen with the system, guys. And overall, I really think that we could see development and there will be that life-threatening flooding. But with a tropical storm actually making its way in, those tropical storm impacts, we know that there will be those strong winds, those tropical storm force winds that are greater than around 39 miles per hour. And there will also be a lot of that heavy rain. That is the main concern right now, the rainfall activity, not so much the wind. And even that storm surge for coastal areas, the areas of the onshore winds could experience some coastal flooding or some inundation as a result of the winds of the system pushing the seawater onshore. So a very interesting week is ahead, and because that area of low pressure has not yet formed, there will continuously be these kinds of variations for the short term. So we just have to keep watch. And as I said, let's go on to the wind shear map. So those red lines indicate unfavorable wind shear, meanwhile yellow means neutral, green means favorable. And the shear is actually getting more conducive in the vicinity of where we see all of that convection developing. So things are getting in place to actually support the system becoming a tropical cyclone. And there are only two names left on the list. They are Vince and Whitney. So let us see how development goes. We also want to watch that Gulf system, all that activity associated with the front there, to see what will happen with it, because some models are hinting that we could see some development as we head into later this week. So of course, I'm here to keep you posted as per usual, and that is what I wanted to share with you in this evening update. So I hope you found it to be quite informative. But if you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments. I'll respond to you when I get the chance to do so. And remember to always be weatherwise.